Writing for Academic Success in Psychology, Unit 1. Welcome to Unit 1 of Writing for Academic Success in Psychology. I'm Kerry Bannister and I'm the tutor in English for academic purposes for the School of Psychology. You can contact me at k.bannister@uel.ac.uk. This is the first of 15 units focusing on the development of your academic writing skills, particularly in regard to lab report writing. So, you've made it to uni and onto your chosen programme. But what's in store, and how will you ensure that you achieve your best? Many new students think they are coming to university to study their chosen subject. In your case, you've chosen psychology. Good choice. But in fact, university study is about much more than just the subject. Indeed, in order to succeed, you also need to focus on the building blocks that enable you to learn and demonstrate your understanding of your subject effectively. These building blocks, including academic writing, form the foundation of independent learning, which is a key feature of university study. So university study is as much about learning or further developing these skills as about learning psychology as a subject. In this unit, we're going to consider why making time to focus on developing your academic writing skills is important for your academic success. When you study for and complete a degree in psychology, you are essentially learning to become part of the professional psychology community. Because such professional communities often share agreed standards and conventions for communication and value particular styles of writing, psychologists form what is known as a discourse community, a group of people with shared communicative purposes and agreed ways of communicating those purposes. This doesn't mean that you have to smother your own voice in your assignments, or that all psychology writing will be the same, but you'll develop your voice within the constraints of the agreed conventions of the psychology profession. Professional organisations like the British Psychological Society, BPS, and American Psychological Association, APA, promote standards and quality assurance across the profession. The APA is also responsible for the writing style and referencing system used in the field of psychology in the US, the UK, and beyond. Your lecturers will expect you to develop skills in producing writing according to the APA style over the course of your degree. In later units, we will focus on the lab report as a key student genre in psychology, and one which is similar in purpose, structure and style to professional academic research articles, the kind that you will increasingly read more of throughout your studies. But the point is that learning how to write like a psychologist is an integral part of your studies, so it deserves a regular place in your study schedule. Academic writing uses formal, clear, standard English, i.e. English as it is prescribed in dictionaries and grammar books. And even if you don't expect to work as a psychologist after you graduate, skills in producing high-quality academic writing will certainly be useful, no matter what career path you take after graduation. Strong written communication skills are highly valued, not only by psychologists, but also in the professional world more generally. Indeed, excellent verbal and written communication skills appears on almost every job description and person specification, and research suggests that weak written language, including style, grammar, vocabulary, spelling and punctuation, is a major concern among recruiters. This table shows a Kent University ranking of the top 10 skills desired by employers. Verbal and written communication skills both feature on the list. So by focusing on your writing, you're developing highly valued skills, making yourself more employable and empowering yourself to succeed in your choice of career. The third reason for focusing on your academic writing skills is perhaps the one of most immediate interest to you: how it can help you become a better learner and improve your grades. Taking first the obvious point into account, a good deal of the assessment you will undertake on your course will involve writing, so it's the means by which your lecturers will assess your achievement. Weak, unclear writing may obscure your ideas, knowledge and understanding, making it difficult for lecturers to assess your work fairly. Lecturers are also human. They often have hundreds of assignments to mark under severe time constraints, so clarity is highly valued and enables lecturers to easily assess your learning. Putting what you have read into your own words is also incredibly important for avoiding plagiarism, the unintentional or intentional use of other people's words or ideas without acknowledgement. And if you can write effectively in your own words, this shows understanding of the ideas behind the words, which leads nicely onto the second point. Learning doesn't only happen in the classroom or through reading. Note-taking and assignment writing is part of the learning process, helping you to articulate and organise your ideas. So by developing your writing, you could not only improve your learning, but also demonstrate it more clearly for higher grades in assessments. Writing development is a process of continual learning. In over 20 years of studying and working in higher education, my own understanding of and skills in academic writing have developed in a number of ways. Yet I know there are always alternative techniques and skills that I could learn, and that my writing style is ever evolving. So even strong writers can learn from reviewing their own skills and abilities and considering alternative ways of doing things. Added to this is the fact that writing in psychology programs at university level requires specific skills, vocabulary and understanding of how psychologists write, which may be different from what you are used to. You'll therefore benefit from devoting study time to learning to write like a psychologist. If the reasons so far haven't yet to convince you of the importance of developing your academic writing skills, then if nothing else, it will help you to develop strong core writing abilities, particularly in terms of grammar, vocabulary usage, spelling and punctuation, all of which are considered a basic requirement for most, if not all, graduate jobs. What may seem like minor issues of punctuation and spelling can be highly distracting to busy lecturers trying to get through their marking, and even in some cases create major issues for the reader to clearly interpret what you've written. In writing, there's no way to clarify with the author exactly what was meant. A reader can only guess if the meaning is not made clear through accurate spelling, grammar, and so on. Understanding of these core aspects of standard written English is also important for proofreading, the final part of any assignment writing process. To assess your own proofreading skills, have a go at correcting the errors in this extract from a professional report. Pause the video in order to complete the task. Once you've made your corrections, continue the video to receive feedback. If you find this task difficult, spending some time on filling in the gaps in your knowledge will benefit you greatly when it's time to proofread your assignments. So how did that go? Do you feel confident that you've identified all the issues in the extract? Let's see. On line 1, the first correction is in terms of whether we treat management as a singular entity or as a plural entity. Technically, management is singular. However, problems can arise when we want to refer back using a pronoun, as on line 5, where they is used. But if we treat management as singular, we'd have to say it instead of they, which I think you'll agree sounds somewhat strange, as we know management means the people in management. Whether you choose to treat management as singular or plural, the key is to be consistent. I chose plural in this case, so change the verb wants to want on line 1 because management is plural. For the same reason, I changed does in line 4 to do. Also on line 1 is one of 5 misspellings, noticeable. Other corrected spellings are embarrassment on line 3, separate on line 5, argument on line 8 and accelerate on line 12. In terms of punctuation, a number of commas have been added on lines 2, 4, 5, 7, 9 and 11 to make the meaning clear. One has been removed before since in line 11, as the second part of the sentence isn't just extra information, but actually completes the meaning of the first part, so no comma is needed. On line 15, a comma has also been changed to a semicolon to avoid what's known as comma splicing, using a comma when it should be a full stop or a semicolon. While a dash has been added after justified on line 5 to show where the inserted comment ends, and a hyphen removed in 6 as it's 2 words, not 1. Many style guides often suggest hyphens should never be used to join a word ending in ly to another. This is a little simplistic in reality, but a good general rule of thumb to follow. Finally, on line 4, the question mark was removed as it's not a direct question. Separate from the misspellings, in some cases mistakes involved choosing the wrong spelling of a word with different meanings and spellings but the same pronunciation, such as principle on line 14, or the wrong spelling of related words with similar meanings but slightly different spellings, such as lay, lie on line 4 and affect, effect on line 10 and 15. Using fewer rather than less on line 15 is similar, but is more about whether we can count the noun we are talking about. People on line 15 is plural, so we can count them: one person, two people, many people, etc. When we can count the things we're talking about like this, we use fewer. If we can't count them, such as coffee or imagination, then we use less. In everyday informal speech, of course, lots of people use less in both situations, myself included, but formal standard written English still distinguishes between the two. Finally, we have the mistakes related to the use of apostrophes and words denoting possession. On line 4, whose with an apostrophe has been corrected to WHOSE, because whose with an apostrophe actually means who is. If we substituted who is for whose on line 4, it wouldn't make sense. WHOSE denotes possession. It's the management's or the HR director's responsibility. The same principle applies for its versus its with an apostrophe, as on line 7 and 15, and also their. If you're not sure, just substitute who is, it is, they are, and so on, and see if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you need to use the spelling without the apostrophe. Indeed, all these examples, like its, whose, their, theirs, are contractions, i.e. when two words, like it is, are shortened into one word, like its, with an apostrophe. And it's advisable to avoid contractions in formal academic writing, as I've done on lines 7, 9, 14 and 16 in the extract. The confusing thing about the possessive words, like its, their, whose, is that while they never have an apostrophe, when we're writing about other nouns, apostrophes are always used to show possession. In the extract, CEO, for example, in line 8, should have an apostrophe, because the CEO is the owner of the argument. Without an apostrophe, it simply means more than one CEO, the plural, which is obviously not the meaning intended here. So how did you do? If you have any grammar, punctuation, spelling or vocabulary questions, just email me your question and I'll answer it and provide further independent learning resources on the topic in the English for Psychology blog, psychenglish.wordpress.com. So all this sounds great, but what do you need to do to develop your academic writing? There are 3 initial steps I would recommend you take to get started. Number 1. Read some more. Not only the stuff you have to read, but also about things you're particularly interested in. And when you read, pay attention to how what you read has been structured, how well the writer guides the reader through the text, how punctuation is used, the kind of vocabulary used and how it's used. Reading is the foundation of good writing, because we learn how to write like psychologists by reading what other psychologists write. Number 2. Complete the Writing for Academic Success in Psychology units on lab report writing as part of your weekly independent study for your research methods module. Watch the videos, reread the transcripts if necessary, complete the tasks and pay attention to the feedback. There are 15 units over the course of your research methods module, accessed directly from the module Moodle site. They are all online, so can be accessed from anywhere with an internet connection. These units provide introductory guidance on developing your academic writing, including vocabulary choice and usage, followed by more detailed focus on understanding the structure and purposes of lab reports, along with discussion of the academic language commonly used to achieve those purposes and to guide the reader through the report. Information on resources for further independent study is also suggested, and each unit includes exercises to check your understanding and practice different aspects of lab report writing with feedback. Number 3. Be proactive. Put aside some time every week to focus on developing your vocabulary, your understanding of standard written English, and how psychologists write. Identify areas for improvement by paying attention to feedback on your assignments. Make use of the English for Psychology blog and other internet resources on academic written English conventions, or ask the Learning and Language Support team for advice and support on specific aspects of your writing. And just a final word. Don't be scared of academic writing. Sometimes it feels overly complicated or even downright incomprehensible, but like anything else, it just takes time and a bit of effort to get the hang of it. Just like learning any other language, which many of you will have already done successfully, learning how to write academically is a process which, with practice, will become second nature to you. So get a head start and make the most of the opportunities available to you in your first year to start developing these new skills.